Which is more important on YouTube? Is it the quality of your content or is it the quantity of your content? People have been arguing about this for years and I've gotten really frustrated in times past, but there's a story that I'd like to tell you that's helped me change how I think about that. Howdy, Jeff Bartsch here with Story Greenlight, where we're all about helping content creators like you use creative video editing and powerful storytelling so that you can turn up the impact of your work, connect with your audience, and help change people's lives. That's what we're all about. So if you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss a single video. Now, there's a long-standing argument on YouTube about whether it's better to have more content as opposed to better content. And this argument really comes down to a lot of assumptions that people hold, often without even realizing that they are holding them, which is actually the way assumptions all often seem to work. And one of the big things is people who say it's more important to have higher quantity, like a higher number of uploads to YouTube, they often end up assuming by their arguments that because creating quality content takes more time, then therefore, if you want to have a higher number of uploads, that you actually have to sacrifice quality. And the flip side to that is, well, why on earth would you want to have lots of uploads that are all garbage? So it's really easy to assume that the people who say you have to have a whole large number of uploads to YouTube to be successful mean that they don't care about quality at all. Those are two large assumptions that often swirl around this whole quality versus quantity argument. So as a point of reference for me, I've literally built my career as a professional television editor obsessing over every tiny little detail that you can imagine. I mean, there have been times when I've literally been hired for an entire week to cut 90 seconds of television. For a 90-second piece, that's like 26 hours of editing per finished minute. Now, a scaled down version of that would be like if I was asked to cut a 2-minute piece and they would say, okay, have this done in 2 days. So that's 8 hours of editing per finished minute. Tell most people on YouTube that you spend like 8 hours of editing per finished minute and they'll probably look like at you like you're growing a third eye or something like that. Quality and obsession over detail is literally who I am. I love being excellent. I love paying attention to detail. It just gives me warm fuzzies all over. I just love the process. But the thing is, to succeed on YouTube, you do have to put out content and you have to do it regularly. So here is a story that helped me change the way I think about this. I heard a story about a college professor who was teaching a ceramics class. And this professor said that we're going to divide our class into 2 groups. One will be graded strictly on the quantity of what you do this semester. The other half is going to be graded on the quality of what you produce. So in order to get an A for the quantity side, at the end of the semester, we're going to put your pottery on the scale, and it has to get 50 pounds of pottery in order to get an A, 40 pounds to get a B, etc. Now, on the folks being graded for quality, you don't have to do that much. You only have to do 1 piece, but it has to be perfect in order to get an A. Now here's the crazy thing. At the end of the semester, the professor was looking at the work that the students had produced and was finding that the best quality pieces came from the group that had been graded for quantity. Whereas the people who had been graded solely on the quality side, all their stuff sucked, basically, because these folks being graded for quantity, they just been cranking it out and learning and reiterating and doing and doing and doing, and they just kept getting better at it. And in the meantime, the folks on the other side had been thinking and sitting around and thinking about what it means to have the perfect piece of pottery, but man, they never actually got the practice to do it. That kind of blew my mind when I heard that story, just because it reinforced the idea that I'd heard before, that quality does come from quantity. You have to do stuff a lot in order to get good at it. But here's the thing that was really, really encouraging to me as a perfectionist, as someone who gets paid good money as a profession to obsess over details. Just because you do have quantity does not mean that quality has to suffer. It doesn't mean that your stuff has to suck. I cannot tell you how happy that makes me to realize that. There's a really cool image that illustrates this idea that was posted by my friend William in the No Small Creator group. He did a video about that. Check out the link above for that. And he also has some really insightful quotes from other folks in the No Small Creator group. So definitely check out the video. So there is one big question left though. It's like, how do you get quality when so often getting quality requires time, especially with editing? I did a video about why editing takes so long and what to do about it, so check that out here. And in the meantime, if this is helpful, hit the thumbs up button, and remember, keep telling your stories because you matter, your message matters, and the world needs to hear what you have to say.